All right, guys, we just concluded our first game of day 2. Now we're headed to game 2, which is going to be a singles match. I've got the one and only Fad, Frank Anthony Davis, join me. What's up, Frank?
I'm doing well, Scott. How are you doing?
Man, I'm great, man. Enjoying this event. This is a pleasure for me to be a part of this. I think it's amazing that they bring some of the best players in the world in pickleball to one venue for 3 straight days to compete. Let's talk about this matchup. We got Eden Lica, who's a Monarch-sponsored player, and you've got Rob Davidson, who is sponsored with now Temper, T-M-P-R.
Temper, and we'll give his Rally Pickleball Camp a shout out.
Absolutely.
His new company. Really, really good teaching from Rob and Shonda.
Absolutely. So you were at the Gamma Pickleball Classic last year when this gold medal matchup happened. And matter of fact, you have a personal attachment to this because you actually came up just short playing against Eden in the bronze medal, correct?
Yeah, it's more than that. With me and these 2 athletes here, it was us 3 on the podium.
It was you 3 what?
On the podium.
On the podium, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, you beat Eden in the first round of the actual tournament to put him down in the losers bracket.
I was the fortunate one to introduce the pickleball world to Eden Lica. Nobody knew who he was. I certainly didn't know who he was.
Nobody knew Eden before that Gamma Classic, unless you were from Connecticut.
Right, and I remember that match very vividly. His passing shots are incredible. I think that match, I won the first game like 11-2. He didn't know what he was doing. And then the second game he comes back and it's like he's got a 9-3 lead on me in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just he makes the ball move down the line so well.
So one thing that I talked to you about that day was that you even said after you won that first round, like, he's going to get better and better and better each game that goes by today. Like,
well, and I think I said he is getting better every single point.
Well, you actually said point to point he was improving.
Yes.
And let me be clear on this, guys. Eden is a guy who loves singles. He plays doubles and he loves doubles, but this is his passion. Just like you, you love the singles aspect. And that's what I think this event is doing. It's bringing more awareness to the fact of how amazing singles is and how entertaining it is.
The score is 7-0.
Okay, so Eden really dialed in here early.
Yeah, he's hit about 5 clean passing shot winners, and I think Rob might have missed a couple of returns. It's just when Eden gets in that sort of zone, and this is his first match today, so you remember he is fresh, very fresh. Eden is one of those players who plays extremely well off the bench. He doesn't need much of a warm-up.
He really doesn't.
He
really does.
He almost plays better without a warm-up.
I agree. He seems to come out of the gate just fresh, and his shots are so crisp. The one thing I did want to talk about is in every singles tournament that he's competed in, fatigue has played a role at the end of the day. But one thing he's really worked on and really strived for coming into the U.S. Open is getting his endurance and stamina up to par so that he can compete at the highest level in our sport.
I think he's lost quite a bit of weight too. I was there.
Yeah, so Byron Frezzo is just reminding us that we did see this matchup, right? At the Gamma Classic.
And one thing that I remember very clearly is that Eden had a match point in the first match of the final and missed it by, I want to say, 1/4 of a millimeter. I mean, it was
so close.
And that one shot going in would have sent Rob and Eden into a tiebreak.
Which would have been a game to 15, correct?
Correct. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Rob is an incredible athlete. I think he probably would have won the tiebreak anyway.
I think so.
But Eden's first pickleball tournament ever, and he's beating me, a top 10 singles player, in the bronze medal match,
which was very shocking to me because of how strong you play singles.
And getting games off of Rob, incredible. I'm glad the sport has him. He's an intimidating figure, and he's really just good for the sport.
He's great for the sport, and honestly, he's an intimidating figure on the court, but he's actually one of the nicest guys off the court. Like, I've gotten a chance to get to know him, because he's sponsored with Monarch, and so am I. Like, I've gotten to spend quality time with Eden, and he is just a very loyal kind of friend, and he's the type of person that will do anything for you.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think he's one of those guys who he has the competitive spirit, the competitive fight, but off court, like a giant teddy bear. He's so
he's like
nice
a big
and
teddy
kind.
bear. Yeah.
But still, when you're a 5'7" Frank Anthony Davis
Playing a 6'5".
playing a 6'5", 6'5" or 6'6".
He could be pushing 6'6".
Without a haircut, he's 6'6".
Yeah, without a haircut, he's 6'6". Take his shoes off, he's 6'5".
Yeah.
But
I actually just played him 2 weeks ago in the New Jersey State Open.
I remember that, seeing that.
It was a really fun, tough match. I think I ended up winning 15-10, but I think he was feeling a little under the weather, which was unfortunate.
It sounds like an excuse to me, but we'll go with it. No, I'm just kidding. He wasn't feeling well, actually.
Yeah. And you could tell. I mean, he's still even not feeling well. He was my hardest match on the day by far.
So that says a lot about his competitive spirit. He had the flu, and all kidding aside, I was joking that it was an excuse.
Yeah.
He actually did have the flu right before that tournament.
He was actually feeling so unwell that he pulled out of the bronze match final against Rion Jordan. Yeah, he didn't feel like he could do it. I think he still would have been able to win that match. But if you're feeling bad enough to not end up on the podium,
right, that says something.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's talk about this score real quick. This is surprising to me because Eden was battling with Rob at that Gamma Classic just under probably 10 months ago. And this is right now he's in complete control at 13-2. And we're not talking about Rob Davidson being a top 300 singles player. He's a phenomenal singles player.
Yeah, I would say I put Rob right in the top 10 of all the singles players, right in that range.
So it's not like he's up 13-3 on me. That would be
we'd expect that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's standard protocol, right? Like that's the expectation. But that's how well Eden is playing singles right now.
Yeah, he's zoning, and one thing I'll give a little bit of insight is to this matchup is that Rob is one of those players who, when you play him, he's really going to control the net really well if he's hitting his penetrating shots through the court. So if you're playing well enough to be passing Rob on a consistent basis, you're doing something really special.
Absolutely. And also because the wins and losses that ended yesterday, it finished the day. Team West had 9, Team East had 6. So this is a big win right here.
Yeah,
this is try to close that gap.
Well, and I think this will be the second or third match.
16-3.
Eden beat Rick to get the first point for Team East.
That's correct.
And
actually, Colin Johns won a singles for Team East.
There's Deckel, yeah.
And then, so a majority of the wins from the East came from the singles side.
Yeah.
Which is impressive to me. I mean,
which is good.
That's a good thing. Like that keeps the Team East in the running for this right now.
It does. Yeah. Well, I think it's great that we decided to have singles at this event because I think it's such a good showcase for the athleticism that you need in singles. It may not be the same traditional doubles points that you're used to seeing to an extent. There's still a lot of strategy involved, but it's just exciting points. Really fun. Movement, shot making.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that tennis players that are coming on and hearing about pickleball and what is this sport that we're talking about, everybody's buzzing about, what's this hype about it? If you just watch doubles, you as a tennis player that's playing singles a lot, you're not going to appreciate watching pickleball as much if you don't know much about it and you come from a tennis background that's singles mostly. But if you see this, and we're talking about Rob and Eden being a professional tennis player at some point in his life, early in his 20s. He was one of the only Romanian junior tennis players to beat Rafael Nadal in a juniors tournament during that run for him in the junior circuit. So we also have another player here, I believe, was on the junior tour and beat. I can't remember who told me that yesterday, but one of our tennis players that has converted to pickleball was able to beat one of the top players in tennis at the juniors level.
Yeah, I know. Deckel Bar has had some really good wins.
Maybe that's what it was. It might have been Deckel.
Deckel's out of Israel.
Still, right? Currently,
yeah.
See, I did not know that.
So last week he flew in on Friday. And then the very next day, I was on the court with him, Ben Johns, and Paul. And
Incredible.
he 20-hour flight, and he's still, playing pro-level pickleball.
He's an animal. I mean, the guy is an unbelievable talent. You're going to see him coming up sometime today. Yeah, we'll see him second. Looks like probably second session. All right, back to the action here.
So I want to say one thing. Eden Lica just took a time out there, and if you've ever seen Eden play, he very, very strategically uses his timeouts. He uses his side change of sides, because you get a minute between sides. He uses those very strategically and very meticulously. He's never seen a timeout that he'll let go.
And that means whether he's winning or losing the match.
He's winning. I've seen him hit clean winners, walk back to the line as slow as possible, put his paddle down, call timeout.
Incredible.
His mental focus is very sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, he was still relatively unknown coming into nationals, because if you remember, the Gamma Classic was sometime during the summer. I want to say August maybe?
Yeah.
So like in August of 2018, he's undiscovered. He comes into the tournament, goes to the gold medal match against Rob Davidson. He beat one of the, in my opinion, one of the top singles players in our sport, in Frank Anthony Davis right here. And then goes on to nationals, and some people had an idea of who he was at that point, mostly the pros, because they started getting wind about him. But the average player or the average fan doesn't know who Eden is at this point. So he comes in, and he was up 9-2 on Ben Johns.
Yeah, I watched that match live. At that point, I was in between matches myself, and I remember he was up, but
Boy, he is
there was
feeling it right now.
an incredibly close game in the second game. I believe it was 9-8 Eden serving. Ben Johns hits a backhand slice return, and you could find the video on Facebook, but it's incredible. Wow. Rob hits the ball at Eden's body, and Eden looks a little frustrated by that, but Rob apologizes. I'm sure it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, and actually Eden did give him the nod, like, hey, it's all right, no worries. Because I think really Rob was just trying to put that ball away.
Yeah.
And that could be a little bit of frustration hitting there.
With Eden's wingspan, you might want to go body. That's a good strategy, and I think it's a legit strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You talk about that real quick. When you've got somebody that's long and tall, a lot of times they like the ball out away from their body. So you're talking about from a strategy standpoint, sometimes it does make sense to rip into their core to jam them up.
The pickleball court is very narrow. It's a narrow court. So if you've got somebody who's 6'6", standing in the middle of the court, they're trying to take the little room that there is away from you. So you've only got really, a couple choices. You can go down the line, you can go cross court, you can hit a lob, which I don't recommend against a 6'6" guy, or you can go body. And I think a lot of times I'll hit my drives body to keep him honest.
Absolutely. Look at Eden get it, but he fell up against the wall. So that might be the one downside to his immense frame and stature, is that if he gets out of position or if he falls up against the wall, he's not going to be as agile as maybe, say, a 5'7", 160-pound, 65-pound player. So, that could be one of the drawbacks. I still think I would take a 6'5" frame over my frame at 5'10", 150,
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy that Eden employs with the way that he takes his time, and right on cue, Eden uses his final timeout.
And that's at the 6-minute mark here.
Up, not only at the 6 minute mark, but up 20-5.
Impressive. All right, so let's talk real quick. On the screen, you guys are seeing Rob Davidson's bio here, quick bio. He's with Team West. He's out of Portland, Oregon. The GPR stands for the Global Pickleball Ranking, not the rating, but a ranking. And that ranking is 11 for Rob Davidson. That means he's ranked 11th in the world from the GPR system. And that's evidence-based. And what that means is it's not just someone's opinion of where they think he ranks. It's based on the results from 8 tournaments that they have distinguished as part of their criteria.
Yeah, I think the GPR takes in account your best 6 results of the year
from the 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a rolling 52.
Yeah. So once the U.S. Open happens next week, the points will fall off from last year, and you'll get your
pick up
your
that
new points.
new-
Yeah, which is a great system. I really like the GPR website. It's a very professional website, and I think if you haven't checked it out yet, wow.
It's a great shot. That is what he's known to do. Like there's that 200 roll. One-handed roll.
In all reality, Rob did everything right in that point. Not one single thing wrong. He spread Eden wide to his backhand. Eden takes one lunge, uses his hands and wrists to flick the ball into the corner. The ball was out the entire time until it dropped. It was outside of the post. It was incredible.
And that's not an accident. He does those shots quite a bit.
It's absolutely not an accident. He's
very precise with his shots.
Yeah, he picks where he's going to hit early, and he goes for it. He doesn't change his mind. If you'll notice one thing, look at how early Eden's racket preparation is. Before Rob's ball crosses the net, he's already taking his paddle back.
Interesting.
Which is the key to hitting passing shots,
especially in singles. I would say.
So watch how early Eden's preparation is on some of these points. Most often when Eden's serving on his third shot, because Rob will hit the return and then Eden will prepare before Eden will prepare to hit the ball before Rob even finishes making his shot.
Yeah. Nice get there by both guys.
Wow.
And then Eden hits a passing forehand roll with a lot of pace right past Rob Davidson there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rob tracked down some balls that were just very tough to get, incredible balls, and it never feels good when you get beat down the line after making 3 good gets.
After 3 phenomenal gets, yeah. And we saw a burst of raw emotion from Eden, and that's just him feeling the moment right now. I mean, I think he's just dialed in so much. Like sometimes that, as a competitor, that you need that little fist bump sometimes. I mean, you're an energy guy, right? Like you feed off that great play or that hype from the crowd getting excited, right? I mean.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I think one thing, like you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, is Eden's still very new. This is maybe only his 3rd major event.
Absolutely, he
and,
played. Yeah.
I think this is an important event for him to make a name for himself, to really get his brand and his level out in the pickleball world.
For sure. And it's no secret that he wears Monarch, and it's no accident that he wears Monarch.
Incredible point.
We knew right away. I remember having a conversation with Riley, and I said, this guy, Eden, I don't know where he came from, who he is exactly, but I said, we have got to snatch him up before anybody else does, because I said the minute that these companies start finding out about Eden, he's going to be a very high priority on people's list to recruit. So, we were fortunate and lucky enough to get him early, and he represents our brand very well, very well.
Yeah. I think you were very quick. I think you talked to him at Pittsburgh.
We did. Yeah, we did. We absolutely jumped right on the opportunity to carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. The other thing is, it makes sense for Monarch to recruit him because they recruited me as more of I'm more of a brand ambassador. I play, I compete. I'm ranked 5-0.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short, Scott. You're a very good 5-0 player.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I know my role as well, right? So we know that Eden's role is to compete at the highest levels in singles, and I do appreciate that compliment.
He's the hired muscle.
He is the hired muscle for sure, literally and figuratively there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one's dwindling down here. I don't know how much energy Rob is going to have left. I mean, this has been a long, really, really grueling match. I mean, it's only 20 minutes, but Rob has had to hustle for everything, and he's made incredible gets and really made an exciting match of what has really just been a show of Eden's passing shot ability and
talent. Just pure talent.
Yeah. It's tough to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, talk about how frustrating it is when you have to kind of guess where he's going to hit, and at the last second he can kind of go the other way if he needs to. I remember that being one of the distinct things that he was able to do is like he watches what you're going to kind of do. Now, he does prepare for a shot, but it feels like he can manipulate if he needs to based on what he sees. And
His preparation is part of his misdirection. So preparing early, what he did to me a lot at Pittsburgh is he would prepare early for a forehand with his left foot out wide, and it would look like it was going to go down the line, and then at the last minute he used his hand skills to twist it inside in.
Which not very many people can do with efficiency and accuracy like Eden does.
Yeah.
It's a unique characteristic that I've seen with him. I'm not saying that other pros can't do that stuff. He just seems to do it on a regular basis. All right, guys, that is the conclusion. 30-6, Eden Lica pulls that one out right there. 31. 31. And points do matter in
maybe
this system.
the biggest differential of the entire tournament so far.
I believe so. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to do an interview with Eden and Rob, and we'll be back to the action soon. Okay, guys, we just concluded the singles match here with Eden Lica. Eden, you were able to come out on top right there. I think it's evident that you really do enjoy singles play.
You know me pretty well, so actually, singles is my main game, and for this match, I thought to a crazy strategy. I didn't want to stay in the rally with Rob. I tried to hit as many passing shots as I could today, and it worked pretty well. I played my best pickleball so far. I mean, this week.
Do you feel like this is a good preparation for the U.S. Open next week?
I think it's a phenomenal preparation for the U.S. Open. I mean, everything is fantastic here. The court, the balls, the people who are in charge of this event, and also you, the Golden Boy. You are the one. Yeah, and thanks for everything you've done for Pickleball Global.
You're very welcome, man. Congratulations on your victory for Team East. Great job. All right, we got Rob Davidson coming on right now. All right, Rob, what's up, man? All right, so that was a rematch from the Gamma Classic right there, and that match was very competitive, even though the score was a little lopsided there, but he seemed to be just dialed in. I mean, what were you trying to do to counter some of that stuff that he was doing there?
Stay alive.
I mean,
yeah, so his ground strokes are phenomenal, passing shots. So I was going for a lot on my returns, and I think I gave up 12 points just off my return.
Off the return. So you were trying to push a little more on that return.
Sure that he wasn't able to step in on those thirds, step in on those ground strokes, really trying to keep it deep, but it's didn't work out for me.
I mean, he is able to manipulate that ball pretty well, so that's a tough matchup. I don't know, that's just impressive to me that since Gamma he's really worked on his singles game. I think he's still trying to work on doubles, but man, great job. Obviously, like I said, it was a very competitive game, even though the score was a little different. Awesome, man. Thanks for your time, bud. Thanks, Rob.